Good afternoon, Pastor Skepple.
Hey.
Good to sit down with you again.
Okay.
You've actually been off a little while spending some time with your family, including new elements of your family. How's that going?
Yeah, Wyatt's doing well. Spending some good time with him.
Good.
Yep.
Good. So I brought you here today to talk about a couple things. First of all, in August, we take a break from Sunday school as normal around here, and you and I, and maybe we triangulate somebody else in, we talk about a subject that has to do with life. And this year, and probably the next couple of years, we'll be talking about work and employment. And what I would like for you to do is just tell me why I should come to Sunday school in August based on that.
It's a good question. Hopefully because you're committed to church, but other than that, the issue of work is a divine issue. I mean, God made us to work. There are parts of our humanity that don't function right when we're not working. There are parts of our humanity that we won't understand fully without work. It's part of what the image of God is in us. I mean, God is a worker. I mean, what did God himself say in Genesis chapter 1? 6 days he worked, right, and then he took his rest. Right. And so work is part of the divine character, and it's part of what comes down to us, according to Paul in 2 Thessalonians 3, as a tradition. I mean, it's beyond just this is a part of the divine created order. It's a Christian thing to do, to work. And well, if you admit that, then you have to admit that there are some things we need to understand about work that we don't understand because they're in the Bible. And so we need God's special revelation to teach us. And so we're gonna delve into the issue of work. Hopefully it'll be helpful. Whether you have a career or are going into a career, or have retired from a career, or maybe your career is at home to taking care of the children. All of us have work duties, and we need to know how to work better for the Lord and how that working for the Lord manifests itself. So that's what we're going to do this August.
So second question, that's kind of a look at what work ought to look like based on the Bible. If you had to analyze how good are the average Americans that you see out there, how good are they at working by a biblical standard and definition and understanding of work on a scale of 1 to 10, how biblical do Americans work?
I would say that your average American understands the importance of work. They don't look at it the same way we do in the church. So they're not doing it necessarily for the glory of God, but they are understanding God's intention for it, which is to care for one's needs. I mean, that's heavy in the New Testament. So I would say that when you put together the idea that most Americans would think that working is a part of our humanity, most Americans would think that I work to take care of my personal needs and the personal needs of my family. And so I would say that your average American stumbles into maybe 70% of what work's about, but there's another 30%, at least. In some people, it's another 80%, to be honest. Yeah. But in your average American, they understand a good portion of work. I mean, what I'm saying is that not that you can skip 70% of what we're going to say on this August. What I am saying, though, is that we're going to concentrate our efforts on working in such a way as to honor God, which is unique. You aren't going to stumble into that as an American. And so there are some things that we're gonna really talk about that everybody needs to know. I mean, obviously the person working needs to know, but the person who's raising future workers, they need to understand what they should be communicating to those future workers. And whether you're a parent or a grandparent, there's some things about work that you got to understand, should understand, to be able to communicate that to your children so they understand their responsibilities. And so this is a session for everybody. Everybody's going to benefit from it, and their Christian life is going to be bettered by what they hear.
Okay, good.